What's up, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be watching how bullying creates school shooters. This topic is really prevalent with everything that's been going on for the past couple of weeks, for the past couple of years in America. I remember when I was living overseas, that's the main joke Europeans would make, like, oh, America has a whole bunch of school shooters. It's like the main joke they was making. So it's absolutely insane that this is like such a big issue. So hopefully we kind of figure out and learn the reasons why these types of things are happening. So let's get right into it, man.
The school shooting, school shooting, school shooting,
The school shooting.
School shooting.
Colorado shooting.
The shooting at the high school.
We need to talk about why these school shootings keep on happening.
They say bullies are to blame.
May have been bullied.
If he had been bullied.
For describing him as an outcast who is often bullied.
In 2025, there have already been 91 school shootings in the US, but very few people actually discuss why so many people are committing these crimes. According to the United States Secret Services, 80% of school shooters are bully victims. But how does bullying turn people into school shooters? To understand why,
It's interesting though, right? Because I think that like sometimes bullying is a thing that should happen in certain circumstances, but not in the circumstances of like this. Like when someone gets the idea to do something dumb like this is when you should be like, you are an idiot. You're gonna ruin your whole life. I mean, I guess that's probably not bullying, essentially, right? It's probably something else. Let's keep watching.
we need to discuss this problem in a way that no other YouTuber is willing to do. In this video, we're going to analyze this problem by understanding what these kids had to go through to want to commit a school shooting. That way, we can spread awareness.
And I guarantee it's more than just normal bullying. Probably bullying, their life at home is shit. There's probably 35 billion layers of things happening.
On preventing school shootings. Pretty much every school shooter is a word that I cannot see on YouTube. According to the National Institute of Justice, 92% of K through 12 shooters are like this. These are people who feel that they have nothing to live for.
That darkness that I've been staring at for so long, I just ran headlong into it. I had nothing left to live for. I literally had nothing to lose. And when you have nothing to lose, you can do anything. And that is a terrifying thought.
But what is causing so many of these students to wish they weren't alive? It's time to talk about how our
You know what's crazy though? When I think of like having nothing to lose, I'm thinking of it in a different light. Like if there's something you really want to do, you have nothing to lose by trying, but everything to gain by doing it. But they're thinking of it in terms of like they have nothing to lose, so why not just get crazy, do something ridiculous, do something horrifying. That's actually wow.
Our school system is at fault for bullying and school shootings. American schools claim to have zero tolerance policies for bullying, but anyone who's actually been to a public high school in the US will know that's BS. In American schools, unless you have direct video evidence that you were bullied by a certain individual, schools will do little to nothing about it. You can't simply just walk up to a teacher or principal and tell
I believe that. Like, hold on. I believe that they would 100% just look at you like. But these days, I feel like everyone has a cell phone. Getting video proof of anything is almost super easy these days. I would assume. I could be
them
wrong,
that you're
though.
getting bullied, because personal anecdotes mean nothing to them. And even if there is sufficient evidence, schools still aren't able to do much. Students who get caught bullying are usually suspended for a few days, and that's it.
I like how when he says students that get caught bullying, he put the picture of the black dude up.
There's
Yo,
also a
what?
passive bystander culture in America. Students rarely step in to stop bullying. In fact, many students actually enjoy seeing the torment and suffering of one of their fellow students, with many
That's
laughing,
facts.
recording videos, and putting
Yep.
it onto social media. This is
Yep.
also a big factor to what creates school shooters. For those who've never experienced this before, it's something you need to go to an American high school yourself to understand. Teenagers love drama. They love
It's crazy though, because didn't Charleston White also say something like that? He said like if anyone ever whooped his ass, right, he wouldn't be mad at the person who he lost to. He'd be more mad at the person who's recording it and trying to post it online. And people do like seeing people embarrass themselves. That's why there's try not to laugh videos, fail videos, X, Y, and Z. People do, yeah.
exciting events
all good
to
points.
spice up their lives.
They're all
Just
awesome
watch
points.
any school fight video and you'll see just how much they love watching violence. Another problem is that oftentimes the bullying victim is punished just as harshly as the bully, if not more. When a victim is defending themselves against their bullies, school faculty will have a very hard time understanding who is the bully and who is the bully victim. So what ends up happening is both are punished. And if the victim's self-defense surpasses the initial bullying, the victim actually receives the harsher punishment. This is the culture that so many American teenagers have to go through. And this is the culture that creates school shooters. People attack you, hurt you, and if you resist, you are deemed as the problem, and you are the one who is punished. This is the reason why so many shooters feel rejected, alone, and like their lives don't matter. Because that's what society has shown them. Their fellow peers don't care. Their teachers don't care. Their school doesn't care. Their parents don't care. I'm not trying to sympathize with these school shooters. I'm simply trying to explain why these things happen. There's still a lot of problems to unpack here. So now, let's analyze some real school shooters and their backstories. Evan Ramsey, the kid who committed the Bethel High School shooting, wrote this in his diary. "I want people, the world, or maybe just Bethel, to know how cruel the world is, or can be. The main reason I did this is because I'm sick and tired of being treated this way every day."
People would call me I'm stupid. Him and his friends would throw wads of toilet paper at me, and they thought that was hilarious.
Evan Ramsey wanted others to feel the way that he felt. He wanted to feel important. Nicholas Cruz committed the Parkland shooting. In his own video recording, he said,
"From the wrath of my power, they will know who I am. My life is nothing and meaningless. I live a lone life, live in seclusion and solitude. With the power of my AR, you will all know who I am."
Throughout all his years, he was constantly reminded about how nobody cared about him. His female friend gave this information to the media. He said he was pushed around and beat up sometimes. Another friend of Nicholas Cruz described him as
The thing is, right? If Cruz became more of an okay, well, he's gonna do it anyway. But the thing is, right? If these people are going through this, where is their family? And if their family life is cooked, then what is supposed to be the next step? We know the schools don't care about nobody. We know the government doesn't really care about anybody. Everybody's always there for their own personal agenda. So what do y'all think would really be the next step in identifying individuals who need this type of help before they get to this point?
an outcast. I could read you a lot more stories, but to keep it short, there's a consistent pattern throughout all these stories about a desire to feel important. A lot of school shooters show signs of narcissistic personality disorder. But narcissism in itself is not enough to explain why school shootings happen. These shooters want to feel important because they've all been socially rejected. Social rejection is one of the most painful human emotions, and studies find that it can be catastrophic to physical health. Of course, there are many other factors that can contribute to school shootings. A big one is toxic parents and families. Mental illness is also commonly brought up. But out of all these factors, bullying is by far the #1 reason. There's a reason why teenage shooters consistently choose their schools as a target. Mass shootings can happen anywhere. Shopping malls, public parks.
Yeah, I mean, kids are mean, dude. Kids are mean. Like, we could just be honest. Kids are mean as fuck. That's I shouldn't be laughing about it, but kids are mean. Yeah, they absolutely are. So
Parks, churches. Schools are actually significantly more difficult to commit these acts, as there is more security and schools are trained in dealing with these scenarios. Yet these teenage shooters still consistently choose their schools as their target. If toxic parents and mental illness are the biggest factors, that would mean that teenage shooters would take their anger out onto any public area. But how often is it that you hear a story about a teenager shooting up a mall or a park? These shooters aren't just seeking destruction. Their hatred stems from the way they were treated in school, and that's where they find their revenge. Mental illness is the most consistently brought up factor to why school shootings.
but it's like, okay, these people have mental illness, right? Then that means someone along the path should be able to identify it, right? That's what I would say. With as much information these days that's out, right? Like, because we could say, like, everyone talks about mental illness now. Everyone has a mental illness now. Does not matter where you look, does not matter where you go, right? The amount of information now, the amount of resources you could find from picking up your cellular phone and, hey, right, you could potentially get help and find help, even if you can't find it in your immediate circles. Now, I know that some of these people probably don't think like this because they're young, and some of these people aren't going to be intelligent enough to think like this at that age. And that is true. But there is a lot of resources and attention on these issues. So it's crazy to me how so many more people with this much information on the topics still can't
shootings happen. And although they are a factor to consider,
Damn,
it's nowhere near as influential as politicians and the media claim.
Mass shootings that have been linked to mental illness.
That individuals with mental illness do not touch a gun.
We got to deal with mental illness.
But this is also a mental illness problem.
Yes, a large chunk of school shooters
I also feel like it's just easier to say that. It's easier to say that it's a mental illness problem than say that there's any other issues going on. Because if it's a mental illness problem, you don't have to go far out of your way as the outsider to solve it, right? You don't have to go far out of your way as the outsider to solve
have
the
mental
issue.
illness. A study by the Violence Project reports that 70% of school shooters have a mental health history. But you have to remember, the term mental health history is being used very broadly here. This includes disorders that aren't linked with violence, such as ADHD, OCD, or anxiety. We all personally know plenty of people with mental illness and mental disorders. Can you imagine any of them committing a school shooting? These aren't dangerous people. They are just as likely to be intelligent and empathetic. And research shows that people with mental illness are not more likely to be violent than the general public. So we can't just use mental illness as the main reason for why school shootings.
It's Bro, I just said what it was. It's just so that they don't, them as the outsider of the situation, they don't have to take accountability. They don't have to say, well, the system is broken. They can just say, yeah, people are broken. Which one sounds better for a political campaign? The system is broken or people are broken? Hey, come on.
Things happen. If you're liking this video and want more videos like this one, then it'd be pretty awesome if you could subscribe. Bullying is the most clear, logical explanation to school shootings. In fact, you'd be surprised how many regular high school students carry guns. A nationwide survey from 2019 of over 13,000 high schoolers found that 4.4% of students have carried a gun in the last 12 months. 4.4%. And this is not because of mental illness, not because of toxic parents. When adjusted for gender, grade level, age, and race, students who are bullied on school property are 83% more likely to carry guns than non-bullied students. So many students are carrying guns because of bullying. That means students are carrying assault rifles to schools also because of bullying. Of course, this doesn't mean that every bullied student has the desire to shoot up their school. Different personality traits and media influences are also a contributing factor. Narcissism, self-importance, the desire for fame, ambition, anger issues, exposure to hateful ideology, fascination with guns, and fascination with violence are all small factors that can add up. There are many different ways that bully victims deal with trauma. Some push through it and heal from it. Some turn to a life of substances and crime. Some end themselves. And some become school shooters.
It's just a slippery slope, bro. It's just a slippery slope, right? Like, this shit is just tragic.
Now it's time to talk about gun control. It's one of the most heated debate topics in our country right now. And I think our society is missing the point. Every time a school shooting is mentioned, gun control always becomes the primary topic. I haven't heard a single person mention bullying prevention following a school shooting. Sure, gun control might decrease school shootings, but why is this our only concern? Kids?
Yeah, but in the big 2025, with how much internet access there is, someone, somewhere, somehow, some way will get their hand on a firearm and still, you know, figure out how to do this, right? We could just assume that that would be the case regardless. Like, really, there needs to be something done to fix the core of the issues, right? So if bullying or confidence or mental health is the main issue in this, there needs to be something that's done for that. Will that happen though?
Kids are hurting, suffering, neglected, and bullied to the point of wanting to shoot their school. And the only thing we want to talk about is gun control? This isn't just a gun crisis. This is a mental health crisis. This is a bullying crisis. On a side note, do you know how easy it is to attain a gun illegally? All it takes is a few connections, or a 3D printer, or access to the dark web. It's no different.
That's crazy, bro. Maybe I wrote the script for this video. Dude. Maybe I wrote the script for this video. You know, you feel me?
Than buying illegal substances. 30% of shooters already attain their guns from the illegal market. If these teenagers really wish to shoot up their school, a simple gun ban will not stop them. Don't get me wrong, I agree that we need strict gun laws, but instead of only addressing one small facet of this problem, we need to start addressing the full picture. School shooters are evil. But they weren't born that way. It was years of bad circumstances that led them to do what they did. Orlando Harris shot multiple people at his school. His middle school teacher described him as a super sweet boy who wanted to please people. Nicholas Cruz had a friend who, when interviewed, said this about him.
I've known him since 6th grade, and I just want to start off that I'm not rationalizing or justifying what he did. It was completely wrong and disgusting. From what I've known him since 6th grade, he is probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. He was incredibly nice and so sweet. Everything seemed like perfectly normal. He had no one to go to at one point to turn to after whatever he's going through, and that's what caused all this.
When society constantly reminds you that you're the problem and that you're less than human, you slowly start to believe it, and you slowly start to take on that role. That's the reason why many
I could say that that is like definitely true. Even if you were to switch it to like the extreme of relationships, if you're dating someone toxic and they always tell you you're the bad guy or you're the bad girl or you're evil, you're the villain, you're a bitch. Eventually, you might start manifesting those traits and actually implementing them in the relationship. So that is definitely true.
many kids who are constantly bullied start to act hostile, listen to violent music, or adopt hateful far-right ideology. It'd be naive to assume that these people are born like this and have always been this way. People are more complex than that. They start off as innocent and slowly transform into the thing that everyone constantly reminds them that they are.
I was told I was worthless by just about everybody in my life. And when you're told you're worthless enough, you will believe it. Then you're going to do everything you can to make everybody else agree with it too. And so I did. I always had heard in life that there was good people and bad people. I must be one of the bad people, so I guess I would have to just do what I was supposed to do.
Sure, a lot of school shooters have mental illness, but they still could have grown up to become good people if they weren't mistreated so heavily. If you don't understand the point that I'm getting at here, my point is that school shootings can be prevented simply through human kindness.
I was waiting to get myself a gun so I could kill a lot of people. But thankfully, I wasn't alone in that darkness. That best friend who had saved me, I was sleeping in a shed, he saw this place that I was in. He still brought me in and showed me acts of kindness. It was literally just sitting down next to me. Hey, would you like a meal? Let's watch a movie. Treat me like it was a Tuesday. Treat me like I was a person. And when someone treats you like you're a person, when you don't even feel like you're human, it'll change your entire world. And it did to me. He stopped me.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. I know everyone likes to troll and joke and da da da, but you have to be able to tell the different jokes and if you're actually affecting somebody. And even then, bro, even if you don't care that you're being mean and being a bully, like, what's the point? Like, what's the long term play of this? You're bullying someone in a place where in 3 to 4 years, those people may not give a fuck about you ever again. You may not ever see them again. So it's like, to me, it just makes zero sense to be moving.
With his acts of kindness from committing that atrocity that day.
School shootings are a problem that won't be going away anytime soon. Every couple of weeks, there's a new deadly school shooting. As you're watching this video right now, there is someone out there who's planning to shoot up their school. Some of you might even know a person who considered doing it. And to that, I say show sympathy and kindness. These people might be planning something evil, but they haven't done it yet. By showing love, care, and sympathy, we could prevent something bad from happening. Show some kindness to people. Be there for them. If you see someone getting bullied, step in. If someone is going too far with their insults, call them out. If you know someone who's in a terrible headspace, check in on them. You never know just how much of an impact your actions can make on the world. You're not just improving the life of one person. You could be saving the lives of many. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want
That was a W video. That was a W video. I don't think I said the name of the channel at the beginning. By Humanity, that was a W video. Like, I won't lie, you definitely shouldn't just be bullying people for things that are out of their control. Or really, honestly, yeah. Like, if you're just cracking jokes and everyone's on the same page and it's fun and it's fine, like I think that's cool. But at the same time, what he said is correct. Like, you could change someone's life with kindness. But I also feel like maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. I also feel like the individuals in the situations have to know that if you're in high school, that's just one phase of your life. You could get out of high school and things could drastically change. You could move to another country and things could get better. You could find a job or move to a different state and things could go better. Like, things could always get better. So you shouldn't give up so early. But you guys already know what time it is. I'm out of here. See you in the next one. See you next one. Peace. Peace.